Hi, and welcome to In Brandon. And today with me I have Brian Sutherland from Grim Acres, and we've got an exciting event that's going to be coming up that we'd like to talk to you about. Be a superhero in the fight against cancer.
I love that name. Isn't that just such a catchy name and something that really makes people want to kind of ask about what it is?
Exactly. So, what is it?
Okay, so as you know from last year when we had our Grim Acres Scare Away Cancer Halloween event, Grim Acres has been a very successful Halloween staging area for Brandon and the Westman area. Over the last few years, we've raised over $48,000 for the Canadian Cancer Society, I believe. So one thing that we've learned through our events of Grim Acres is that the community really likes to give and give and give. It's basically the backbone of what our community is, to help your neighbor whenever they need it. So one thing that's always come across in Grim Acres is we've seen a lot of support that's come our way. So what we really want to do is help to kind of give back to our community. And this year what we really want to do is actually reward it by giving it the recognition that everybody needs. So what we're going to do this year as a kickoff to Grim Acres, we're going to have a world record attempt for the most people dressed as superheroes in one area, and we're going to call it the Be a Superhero in the Fight Against Cancer event.
Oh, so when you're talking world record, you're talking the granddaddy, you're talking Guinness Book of World Records.
Oh yeah, this isn't just a small little party. This is the big deal here. Guinness World Records is about 5 or 6 years ago, I think the record was set, and it was by a group in the United States that had basically come together for a movie event dressed as superheroes. So that was pretty easy for them, honestly. I think it was in LA, California, so I mean there's a lot of people that are there, but this is something that's going to mean so much more, because this isn't just going to be a movie event. This is something that's going to be something great for our community, and it's something that's also going to give back to the community and help support the Canadian Cancer Society. So what we're going to do for the event, we're going to be having it at the Manitoba room of the Keystone Centre, which our good friends from Westman Communications was kind enough to pay the rent of for the event. And the record is 1,580 people dressed as superheroes, and it's going to be October 1st from 1 to 4 p.m.
Right. So where is there information? Actually, before we even get to that, there's a lot of rules that Guinness is putting on. So why don't you go into that a little bit on what they're expecting?
Yeah, there's a lot of rules that have gone along with it. We actually did apply for this whole event last year, just before our Halloween event, probably about 2 months before that, and we'd hoped that we could do it last year, but due to the timeline and all the constrictions that we had getting into Halloween last year, we just did not have a lot of time, so we figured we'd put it on hold until this year. And yeah, once I got the rules, they were pretty in-depth. There's probably about 29 pages, I think, rules and regulations that I needed to follow for this to happen. But we've got the approval from Guinness World Records to actually hold the event. And one of the specific rules that they have is that the costumes basically have to be pre-approved by them leading up to the event, which means, unfortunately, nobody can just show up at the door wearing any old costume. It literally has to be ones that fit into a specific criteria. So right now we have a list of about 100 characters that people have submitted online in our Facebook page and our event pages through Instagram and Twitter. And on February 28th, we're going to submit that list to Guinness World Records for approval. It'll generally take about 2 weeks to a month for us to finally get that approval. And then once we have that list, we're going to release it to the public so they can all know what kind of costumes they can dress up in. And we're working with some local retailers and some Halloween merchandise chains in the Manitoba area to hopefully get some nice discounts on some good costumes so that nobody will ever feel left out. There's no real reason not to show up for this event. So yeah, I'm really enthusiastic about the people that are going to show up. It's only 1,580 people, and it's really only going to be for 4 hours, and we're going to have games, we're going to have local musicians that are going to be there, some entertainment, and as I told you before, we're going to be trying to get some celebrities hopefully out to this. Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman, hopefully you guys will show up.
So a little bit more on the costumes now too, from when we were talking before. You can't just show up in a white t-shirt with a Batman symbol on it.
No, and I really wish that you could. I mean, it'd be so easy just to show up in that kind of costume, because it's really quite easy. But unfortunately, the way the rules are in Guinness World Records, it's very specific. Has to be head-to-toe costume, has to be recognizable as the characters, and again, has to be approved by them in advance. So yeah, it's really a lot of rules that are going to have to be followed, but in order for the criteria to be met for us to reach that record goal, then we have to kind of follow that.
So is there a cost for coming to this event in your costume?
No, and that's the best part about it. There's no cost. Just like our Grim Acres Halloween event, we don't charge for the event for admission. We do accept donations at the door that will go towards the Cancer Society. And one of the things that we're going to do this year, because it's called Be a Superhero in the Fight Against Cancer, there's a lot of people out there that have heard stories about families that have had children that have gone through the cancer battle. And we all know how devastating those can be. So what we want to do this year to help some of those families out. We know the financial aid is out there a little bit, but not enough to help people enough. So what we want to do is we want to take half the donations that are going to be at the door, give that to the Cancer Society. Another half is going to go to a family in need, because we know that transportation costs, things that go into that, there's so much that has to be taken care of, and we just want to be able to help out.
So where can people find out information about this event?
Oh, it's absolutely easy. You can go to our Facebook page, Grim Acres Scare Away Cancer. We have a separate event page for the event called Be a Superhero in the Fight Against Cancer World Record Event Attempt. You can also reach us on Twitter, Grim Acres, or Instagram, also under Grim Acres. There's lots of options out there, and I think one thing I did forget to mention was the grimacres.ca website. It's really, there's been a lot of positive response about it. We're so glad about our community supporting this event, and we look forward to seeing everybody out there. I've said this before in other interviews. You know what? If you're somebody that's listening right now, then you can't just expect the next person to be the one to do it. Don't miss out. There's so much potential in this, and it's a great way to show the community that we have such a giving spirit. And one of the things I also want to get across is that we don't want Westman just to be recognized by Westman. We want everybody globally to know how much good comes out of this community and how much giving and what a wonderful spirit there is. So this is kind of our way of putting Westman on the map.
Right. So again, the world record is 1580?
1,580 people. So
which isn't that much.
No,
really.
absolutely not. I mean, and we've got friends from Brandon, people from across Westman. We've got people from Winnipeg and probably even Saskatchewan that are going to be coming out because, again, they realize this is such a great event. It gives to such a great cause. It's going to inspire so many people. And with events like this, we are so much closer to becoming closer to our final goal of being able to say that we as a community are there to help scare away cancer. And that really is what we're all about.
It's almost disappointing that the amount of people is only 1,580, and that was done in LA. If LA, I'm sure Westman I'm sure we can totally blow away that record.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, just based on what I have in my closet alone, I have 2 Superman costumes and 2 Batman costumes. So, I mean, you think about it, just me alone, I could probably bring enough costumes. I know Brandon people are really big about their superheroes, about the movies, again, about the cause of Grim Acres. So I'm very confident we're going to break this record, and we're all just going to have such a great time. Like I said, we got friends from Laser Tag going to be coming out with their inflatables, local musicians, some of our friends that escaped the Final Countdown are going to be helping out. So there's so many different aspects of this that are going to be so entertaining for so many people, and I just would love to see everybody out there.
Right. So again, date, location, times?
October 1st from 1 to 4 p.m. It's going to be in the Manitoba room of the Keystone Center. We have some other events that might be planned afterwards as well. So again, keep an eye on our Facebook page for that as well, and keep the information going out as we get closer to the event.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for coming in, Brian.
Thank you.